Right now, here we go. Welcome everybody in there, guys. We all probably, if y'all watching Sarah Street, y'all heard a bunch of backstage shit talk because we hate all of you and we want you to know it. But now we're going to talk about important things. We have OWLISH and Sarah the Raging Tomato here to talk about a very important subject today. It's going to be, is traditional gender roles well, let me correct myself. I can't talk today either, apparently. I've had every problem today, so we're going to try again. Traditional gender roles still have a place in modern society. Should traditional gender roles have a place? Whatever. That's the point. I'll type it in the chat because I can't read. Yeah, we're having real struggles today. I apologize. It's not my usual self, but that's okay. We're going to get through it, and we're going to have a good time. So, okay, who is the AF? The AF is Sarah. I have that in my notes. It is Sarah's, yes. All right, Sarah's the app, so what should we turn? So, yeah, TwitchCon is going to be exciting. I'm excited. I tried to tell Wick to go, but he didn't seem too excited when I was telling him. All right, I'll fuck myself. This is going well. Icy, how are you doing today, Icy? Talking to chat. All right, Sarah's back. All right, we can start this off. Everybody,
how long do you plan on going, Gibbs? I think you do shorter time frames, right?
These usually go about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So, yeah, that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Especially for one-on-ones. If anything longer than that, it starts turning into, like, tedium. Or, like, I mean, maybe there's exceptions, but, you know. So, you're the affirmative. Let me pull up my timer.
Oh, wow.
Then we can start this up. Nope, that's not it.
Thanks for hosting, Gibbs.
No problem.
And thanks for coming to play with me, Owlishness. I figured I'd do this one for fun.
Yeah. I almost forgot about this, actually, because I've been sick. You can tell by my very rosy cheeks.
Sorry, guys, we're having another problem. Why is all my tech failing? The one time.
What's wrong with your tech? I work in IT, so
it's just nothing wants to work. It's fine. We're gonna just power through this way. All right, cool. All right, yep. So we're gonna share this. We're gonna just have an alternate solution. We're gonna use the Google timer. So here we go. All right, whenever you're ready, Sarah, go ahead.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Do I have to watch it?
No,
wait, do I have to?
I'm gonna post up again. Ready? Go.
Okay. Oh no, why is it not? Now it's not working. How do I step out of it? There we go. I'll just step out of it. Now everything froze.
All right, I'm just going to tell you when your time's up. I'll give you a 30-second heads up, and then you got 30 seconds. All right, cool. 7 minutes starting.
Hold on. Everything's froze. Like, everything's...
This is the problem I was having when I was trying to log in with my Streamlabs. Everything kept, like, freezing as soon as it started.
Stream. Try again. Okay. I am not going to click watch stream again. That was detrimental. All right.
We ready?
Mm-hmm.
And go.
All right. Tonight's debate asks a simple question. Should traditional gender roles still have a place in modern society? Now, before you start drafting my cancellation letter, no, I'm not going to argue women should lose the right to vote. No, I'm not arguing women belong barefoot in the kitchen. I wear shoes. I'm not arguing every woman should become a stay-at-home mother because despite what the internet believes, it actually is possible to promote something without banning every alternative. Crazy concept. I'm arguing something much simpler. Society should encourage the family structure that produces the best outcomes. We already do this with everything else. We promote education, marriage, brushing your teeth, wearing seatbelts, eating vegetables. We don't outlaw donuts. We don't make cavities illegal. We simply recognize that some choices tend to produce better outcomes than others. Apparently, it's only controversial when the topic is motherhood. Now, I'd like to introduce you to two women. They're neighbors. They're married. They both have 3 children. They both love their children more than anything else in the world. They both have the exact same legal rights. The only difference is the life they've chosen. Let's meet Samantha. Samantha is 30 years old, married to her high school sweetheart, homeschools her 3 children. Terrifying. Somebody call the feminist emergency response team. Every morning, Samantha wakes up, makes breakfast. The family sits down around the table. Dad leaves for work. Nobody is sprinting through the house screaming, "Where's your other shoe?" Nobody is trying to convince a 6-year-old that technically a Pop-Tart counts as breakfast because they're already running late. Nobody's blood pressure has reached NASA levels before 8 o'clock. Instead, the kids brush their teeth, they make their beds, they do a few chores, they learn responsibility responsibility. Then around 10 o'clock, school begins. Not inside a classroom with 20 other children fighting one teacher's attention, but on 3 at the kitchen table. Mom slows down if one child struggles, speeds up if another excels, throws the schedule out entirely if somebody wakes up sick. Imagine that, an education that revolves around the child instead of revolving around the government schedule. Now, where reality becomes incredibly inconvenient, by homeschooling her 3 children, Samantha saves taxpayers nearly $50,000 every single year that would otherwise be spent educating the same children in public school. Instead, she spends roughly $4,500 educating all 3 herself. Same multiplication tables, different invoice. If Comcast charged 10 times more than Verizon for the exact same internet speed, Congress would hold hearings. But when government does it, apparently we're supposed to clap. And despite spending dramatically less, homeschooled students routinely score 15 to 30 percentile points higher on standardized tests than public school students. Turns out having one teacher who loves you isn't the worst educational model ever invented. After lessons, they go to the library, visit museums, play at parks, take field trips. Lunch isn't served by someone wearing plastic gloves trying to remember whether today is pizza rectangle day or mystery meat Wednesday. Mom actually cooked because the one person most invested in whether those children become healthy adults is still, in fact, their mother. Now, here's my favorite statistic. According to Forbes, if Samantha stopped doing everything she does and her family had to outsource it, cooking, cleaning, childcare, transportation, tutoring, household management, everything, it would cost roughly $1 million over 20 years. Yet somehow the internet calls Samantha unemployed. That's adorable. Apparently, raising the next generation only counts as work if a corporation signs your paycheck. Otherwise, you're just wasting your potential. Samantha's husband earns about $70,000 a year. People hear that and immediately assume she's financially dependent. But here's the part that never gets mentioned. Because Samantha stays home, they only need one vehicle, one insurance payment, one registration, one gas bill, one commuter, no after-school care, no summer daycare, no paying strangers to raise the children. And again, according to Forbes, the value of Samantha's unpaid labor is roughly equivalent to earning about $50,000 a year. Funny enough, that's right around what the average single woman earns working full time. So the woman everybody keeps calling unemployed is quietly contributing the equivalent of another full-time salary without sending her kids to daycare, without spending hours commuting, and while actually getting to raise the children she chose to bring into this world. Not bad for someone society says has no career. Now, let's walk next door. Meet Sam. Sam also loves her children. She's also trying her best. She simply bought a different promise. Go to college, build your career, become financially independent, girl boss, lean in, breaking the glass ceiling, rise and grind, LinkedIn, motivational quotes, 47 inspirational coffee mugs. She and her husband each make about $60,000 a year. Sounds fantastic until girl math ain't suddenly mathing anymore, because now you've got daycare, after school care, summer care, second vehicle, second insurance payment, second registration, twice the gas, twice the maintenance, professional wardrobes, convenience meals, morning Starbucks because apparently caffeine is cheaper than therapy. And before long, the second income starts looking less like financial independence and more like an incredibly expensive hobby. Every morning she begins at what scientists refer to as the ass crack of dawn. Nobody can find shoes. Someone forgot homework. Dad's looking for his keys. Mom's looking for the last remaining fragment of her sanity. Breakfast, whatever legally qualifies as food before the school bus arrives. A quick wave, a kiss goodbye. The kids disappear. The mom disappears. Dad disappears. Everyone spends the next 9 hours making someone else rich. School lets out around 3. Mom and dad don't get home till 5. So after school care, another bill. Summer comes. Now it's full-time childcare, another bill. And here's the part that absolutely fascinates me. Mom goes to work to earn money to pay somebody else to raise children that she thinks she went to work for. Ladies and gentlemen, the math ain't mathing. That's not empowerment. That's a hamster wheel with direct deposit. And despite this supposedly equal partnership, Pew Research still found something even more fascinating. Even in egalitarian marriages, women still spend significantly more time doing childcare and more time doing housework than their husbands. So, congratulations, modern society liberated women by giving them all of the traditional responsibilities plus a full-time job. That's a hell of a trade. Now, before my opponent gets excited, let's save the rebuttal. No, I'm not saying Sam is a bad mother. I'm saying she's living exactly the life modern society sold her. This isn't an attack on Sam. It's an attack on the sales pitch. We've completely inverted what we value. Now, here's the part where I stop joking, because this part isn't funny. Children only get one childhood. Parents only get one chance to be there for it. You can always earn another dollar. You cannot earn another first birthday. You cannot
30
buy
seconds.
another first step. You cannot purchase another bedtime story. You cannot Amazon Prime another afternoon in the park. Those moments expire. My argument tonight is not that every woman should live the life that Samantha's life. Freedom means people will make different choices, and they should have that freedom. My argument is simpler. We should stop pretending that every choice produces the same outcome, because they don't. If one family model costs taxpayers less, costs families less, keep the parents and their children longer, allows parents to actually raise their children,
finish up.
then why are we embarrassed to promote it? I'll stop there.
All right. Well, we got to get 5 seconds straight. You have now broke Fabian Liberty's record on my show here for the longest opening. That is sus. Also, before I turn it over to Alice, because I'm fucking stupid today, there's the format for the audience chat. 7-minute openings. Well, this is a revised version of the DCS that we're doing here today. No judges. So I'm going to just ask questions where the judges' periods would be. If there's super chats or some other shit that happens, then no, I probably won't read your shit because fuck you. But give me your money anyway. So, all right, here we go. Alice, 7 minutes, starting now. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, well, I did have my own. I did my own statement written out, but I'm actually going to try to respond to yours instead. Is my audio okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will start off with the things I have written down, but define what is a gender role. I think you kind of said it was stay-at-home mom, taking care of the kids, kind of being the family support, as well as being the, household support rather than getting a job. I guess that was also the second question that I had written down, which was what traditional gender roles are there to follow? And additionally, you also answered the question that I was going to bring up about how far should we roll back these gender roles? In terms of should we abolish the 19th Amendment? You already said no. So we got that out of the way. And then no barefoot in the kitchen. I would prefer barefoot in the kitchen, no shoes in the house. That's my rule. Okay. Do not like shoes in the house. And women, in my opinion, already fill a gender role in the fact that they're able to have children. If people are unable to have children, do they no longer fit that role, or what's their role in life? Like, say you have a woman who is who doesn't have a family. She's a single person. She's single, or she's she's married and they don't have kids, or she's just one of those childless cat ladies that everybody's so afraid of. What if she's one of those? Those people still have a lot to contribute to life. Are they not necessarily following these gender roles that we've set up? What does their life look like when compared to Sam? Or I'm sorry, I forgot the other person's name.
Samantha and Sam.
Oh, Samantha. Okay, so it's Samantha and Sam. Sorry, that's why I missed it. So, so Samantha, is her life supposed to look like Samantha, or is she not following traditional gender roles? And I want to reply to a few of the things that you mentioned. Stay-at-home moms are not, as you kind of hinted at, that they're earning money. The same amount of money is still spent because they're unable to contribute to a health insurance. They're unable to contribute to car insurance or life insurance. They can't contribute to buying the groceries. They can do childcare, obviously, but the supplies that they're going to need to buy for the kids, that's going to cost money that they're not making. And additionally, the cost that would go to the state, it's going to be paid anyway. It's more so because school costs are actually paid to your district from your, what is it called? Your, sorry, I forgot the word.
Property value.
Property values. Thank you. They're actually paid from your property values. There's also something to be said about homeschooling depending upon what state you're in, because several states actually have very lax homeschooling rules. So there are some that you could literally just tell the district that you're schooling your kids, and there's absolutely they won't even check it on you. It's very far and in between. I believe Kentucky is one of the places that has very lax rules, or it's either Kentucky or Indiana. Both of them have extremely lax rules. The kids in those states regularly have lower they have lower instances of homeschooling, of learning things from homeschooling, because they're just not regulated. They don't have to follow any sort of structure. They don't have to follow any sort of like I'm forgetting the word again. Whatever. They don't have to follow anything like that. And then overall, you're kind of striking the father out in terms of dealing with or having time to spend with his kids, because he's going to be going to work, earning all the money, earning all of the vacation, earning all of the pay, earning all of the health insurance, earning life insurance, everything for the kids. And you're kind of divorcing him from the idea that you brought up, or the idyllic thing that you brought up of spending time with the kids. It seems like only the mother is going to be able to spend time with kids if the father is constantly at work. But there is something to be said about Sam, who I would assume that both of them, Sam and the father and her husband, or Sam and her husband, have vacation time. In the summer, they'll be able to take time for their kids. I would assume also the kids are going to eventually go to school, so they are not necessarily going to need after school care, because at a certain point they might need it for a little bit, or hopefully they have family. But this kind of presents more of a problem with the work structure, not necessarily with them having jobs. Because the American work, the American like employment, it's very draconian, in my opinion, because a lot of places do have free childcare. A lot of places have like after school care. When I was in school, there was free after school care, but I'm not sure if that's offered in many places. And then there's also like camps and stuff that happen during the summer. However, again, this is to be said that this is a problem with the actual overall structure of the work environment, not necessarily that both parents have a job. I don't see how this applies to gender roles, because the job being shitty doesn't really change anything. And I'm just looking over my notes. Again, these are just problems with working and non-working parents. Sorry, my cat is like making a cacophony over there.
Are you the cat lady?
Yes.
Well, my cats have been on one all day, so that's fine. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds because we distracted you here, but you got 20 seconds.
I'm good. Oh. Actually, that kind of like wraps up what I was gonna say. We can just get right into it.
Sure.
Actually, first, before we do that, a word from our sponsor, Sonic. It's always half price in the app. Anyway, go ahead.
The hedgehog?
No, the wonderful Texas-based company here, Sonic. It's wonderful. It's half price in the app. Get your Route 44 now. Anyway,
do they have roller skates there? Do they do the roller skates?
Some of them do. It's optional.
I was a roller skate girl at Sonic for
really?
I was like 16, I think. Yeah.
In the north, do they do ice skates?
Well, I was out in the Midwest during that time, but yeah.
I'm also gonna put the in a second. I'm gonna put the stream together link in the back if anyone wants to join it. But give me one moment. Go ahead, wherever y'all fight.
Okay. Did you want to start? Do you feel any need to define gender role at this time? Because I know you mentioned that in the very beginning. I think we probably have a very similar idea of what a gender role is, or do you feel the need to go through and actually define it?
Yeah, I specifically don't think there's any like specific thing called a gender role. I just think that there is a mother and a father, or in the case of couples that are non-traditional, you have a father and a father, a mother and a mother. So like it doesn't really make sense to me that we're still like using gender role to define it, unless you're just kind of using it as a catch-all for like one parent staying home and one parent working. So like, how would that work in a non-traditional marriage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, let's go ahead and just define it. Gender role. I just pulled up the Britannica definition, gender role, a culturally and socially determined set of expected behaviors, attitudes, and characteristics based on concepts of masculinity and femininity. A gender role should not be confused with gender identity, yada, yada, yada. That kind of easy and to the point?
Yeah, but again, that
Okay.
kind of begs the question. That kind of begs the question of like in a non-traditional marriage or a non-traditional household, such as an extended family, who is taking on that gender role, especially if it's a gay couple?
Well, I think that's why we're kind of where we are in this conversation. So, gender role is based on masculine versus feminine, and we could put like a virtue to that, right? What would a virtue of a masculine role versus a feminine role be? Correct. Men, we could ideally say providers, protectors. That's societally, it's the acceptable answer for what's a masculine man versus femininity. We think of motherhood, nurturing, caring, so on and so forth. Correct. Okay. But who can actually become a mother? Who can actually give birth? In that aspect, I would say women can only give birth at this time, right?
Would you think
Wait,
that a
wait,
person?
so wait, are you saying that the only gender role is giving birth? Just
No, but I'm going to
okay.
put that as
Yeah,
the
just-
monolith
hello?
here.
I was just asking clarification.
Yeah, I was about to ask that question.
Oh,
Hello.
Sorry, I was asking
I was about
clarification
to
for me.
say-
I was confused. So go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. So if a woman is born sterile, is she not a woman?
She is still a woman, but her gender role, like what that's why we defined it, right? We're going back to culturally and socially defined expectations of behaviors, attitudes, and characteristics. Now, she could still be sterile and not be able to become a mother, but she could still therefore promote the idea of women becoming mothers, right? Or help support that idea of women becoming mothers.
How could she support that idea?
Well, you could become a midwife per se. You could do a role that would actually help assist in that factor. You may not be able to become a mother, but you also wouldn't want to become like if they were to say things like women should have abortions or women shouldn't be stay-at-home mothers or something like that. That wouldn't be supporting that role, right?
Well, I guess technically a woman who is not sterile, or I mean, a woman who is sterile who works at an abortion clinic is doing exactly what she was meant to do. Make other people sterile. Make sure that they don't have babies.
And that helps promote society, the betterment of society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's giving women the choice of whether or not they want to be a mother. But on a serious note, what if that person who is sterile decides to become a teacher? That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So
There's still exceptions to every rule, correct?
yeah, there's exceptions to the rule, but like this then is considered a gender role, right? Like teaching, nurturing.
Yeah.
So should this woman who is sterile, should she become a midwife? Or do you think it would be more productive if she became a teacher and actually had a job?
She could still become a teacher. We're not annihilating schools altogether, right? Again, there are still exceptions to every rule.
Yeah, that wasn't the implication. The implication here is that I don't think it's necessary for a woman to abide to any gender role just because, society says so, because there's more nuance to society than just being a woman who can have birth and a woman who can't have birth and she does something else. Because like, what if she's single? If she's single or if she's married and doesn't have kids and they don't have kids, what exactly would you expect her to do?
Well, that's the idea of promoting that type of propaganda in order to promote the idea of wanting to get married and have children, because her duty to society would therefore be to help promote the population, help make the babies from which society we will have.
Yeah, but what about adoption? What if she worked at an adoption clinic?
These are all like
adopted?
exceptions. These are all exceptions to the rule, right?
Yeah,
you mentioned
exactly.
women being born sterile. That's an exception to the rule. It doesn't negate the fact that she's still a woman. It doesn't take away her ability to help other women want to become mothers or help her maneuver through life as best as she can. It also doesn't negate her from adopting children. You can adopt all you want, but it doesn't increase the population either. So therefore, women are kind of charged with that duty of promoting the birth rate here in society. Like, we are the only thing here that can have babies, correct? So if let's say 40% of the women decide not to help promote the help decide that they don't want to have children, well, that's a big problem for society, because that's a stark number that increases very significantly in the other direction, in which we need to continue making people for the society in which we want.
So why do we need to increase the population? Like, what is the need for that?
Well, even if you wanted to keep the population at pace, right, you still need people. Who's going to take care of the elders, right? We have our elders who are running around doing their own thing, and eventually
Probably
they're going to
not
need
running.
somebody to well, yeah, probably not running around. Rolling around, they're rolling around. We need to take care of them. But if
I don't
if
know.
mom
Probably running.
if mom and dad are still working in the workforce, grandma and grandpa need somebody to take care of, right? How are they? And now you're just, all you're doing is putting them in a nursing home, and now you're getting away from the betterment of society all over again.
Well, you don't necessarily have to put them in a nursing home.
Well, who's going to take care of them?
Their spouse, if they have one.
They're both 87 years old, and neither one of them can wipe their own ass.
Okay, so at this point, you don't dump people in nursing homes. There are more eloquent solutions to this. There's senior living facilities, which are not nursing homes necessarily. They're just like housing units for like elderly people. And if you spent your entire life, especially if they spent their entire life and they're earning a pension, they should be able to put that towards that. And then if you were working your entire life and you saved enough money, considering, you would be around 50 yourself, maybe 60
Welcome
yourself.
to the Republican Party, by the way. I love
Republican.
This. Just kidding. This is a very conservative argument you're making here. I like it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, this is just logical, right? This is just logical. If you were saving money your entire life, I mean, I would hope this is something that everybody should do. Given that that the modern work, job market actually supports it. But anyway, you'd be around 50 or 60 yourself if your parents are 87. So, like, at this point, you're almost ready to retire. So,
but if we have all of those people entering into the senior assisted living homes, nursing homes, so on and so forth, and we're not increasing our birth rate to have people who are going to eventually work those jobs, right? Then how are we going to support that system above us?
What do you mean? I would think that they don't have jobs. The elderly people who are 87 years old.
Right. Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to work those jobs at the nursing homes, the senior assisted living?
Oh, what do you mean? The people, I don't know, maybe the single mother. Maybe
if we keep getting, if our birth rate keeps going down, right, then we're at a tier where we have, let's just use a smaller numbers to understand it visually, but we have 1,000 people and only half of them made babies. So then we have 500 people and only half of them made babies, and now only 250 of them and only half of them made babies. So how are you going to support the system above you if you're not making as much or more people to support the system above you? Who's taking care of them?
So why do we need the population that we have? So, like, why do we need such a large population? Because we've supported society with a much lower population. And if you consider it, a lower population would actually mean more money per person and more things per person, more resources per person. And I'm not saying like
resources.
Genocide.
Who are you buying to come help you? Who are you buying? What things are you buying to assist you if there's nobody underneath your support system to build those things or do those jobs or perform those roles? You still need
we do
to
not
replace
buy people anymore.
I mean, by like hiring somebody to do something, right? If there's no support system below you to complete those tasks, then that money's useless.
Well, let me look at unemployment rates in the U.S. Let me use my friend Google AI overview. The unemployment rate is 4.2% as of June 2026. if we lost a bit of the population, not in any bad way, just just normal losing population, maybe those 4.2% of people or 4.2% of the population can get jobs and help, right?
Even at that, go
And
future roll it. Okay, that still doesn't support the system above you. Even if all of those people went to work right now, there are still more people older than us, right? I keep saying above, but I mean in terms of older than us, the generations before us, there are still more of them versus what we have now versus what we're going to have later versus what we're going to have after that. So even if that 4.2% goes to work, it doesn't matter because we still don't have enough people. We're not even replacing ourselves at the same rate, right? So our support system is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. If we continue down this path of not making it, not promoting the idea of women should be having children because it is their duty, right, to society to produce these children, right? One woman can't do it all, right? We need everybody, all hands on deck. So if we're not reproducing and if we're not procreating to mass numbers to help support that system, then the system above us is going to collapse because we're not there to help it.
Well, they're already not contributing. So if I'm looking at a population counter and it looks like the population of 60 and above is 0.57%. Oh, that can't be right. Hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like 1 to 2% of the population is 60 or older, going to getting less and less and less as we go up. So it seems like in the population of the United States right now, that's 342,700,000 and 728,534. That's the current United States population. I don't see why there is any need for us when let's look in 1990 what the population was.
While you look that up, I have a question because I'm very interested.
There were 248,709,873 people in 1990. So, and we had a 9.8% growth from the 80s to the 90s. So I'm not seeing why exactly having 348.
I would be curious what the immigration rates are. Do you want to just keep importing our next generation? Just quick AI overview on Google. The U.S. birth and fertility rates have reached historic lows with provisional data showing about 3.6 million total births, a general fertility rate of roughly 53 births per 1,000 women, and crude birth rate near 10.7 per 1,000 people.
So
Right.
I'm gonna let you respond, and then I'm gonna pause y'all after. Right, you go ahead and respond. Then I'm gonna pause y'all because I have like 2 questions that I want to ask you for it to get clarification on. So go ahead.
Okay. Again, I don't see I don't want to say this in a like callous way, but we can stand to lose some people in the United States. Like it's not gonna devastate our society. And when it comes to people who immigrate, they're a benefit to society. Immigration has always been something positive for the country.
Well, if you just replace the entire population with immigrants, well, then now we're not us.
Well, okay, so this is actually the question I want to ask, actually, because this will go to both y'all, because you can take this either way, right? So, y'all were talking about, like, traditional gender roles, right, and the, like, roles in society, and we're talking about, like, kind of, like, what is good for society? Like, we don't even really know what tradition is. Y'all really haven't defined, like, what is a traditional gender role? Are we talking, like, what the Aztecs gender roles are? Are we talking, like, what is Western? Are we talking traditional U.S. gender roles? Or are we talking about an amalgamation of something that we think was there that wasn't ever actually there? And then the other thing I want y'all to answer here real quick for me is, what is good? What is the good outcome, right? Because, let's just make this argument. Immigration is good. It brings in all these things, right? And you made the argument. We want population growth, right? That's good. Why are these things good? I would like y'all to address both those. Either one of y'all can go first on that, but both questions, if y'all don't mind. If you could, like, define, like, where traditional gender roles are coming from, and then, like, what is the good metric?
I already gave the definition earlier. We both agreed on that.
Yeah, you agreed on gender roles. I want traditional gender roles. There's a difference. What is that?
Right. So traditional gender roles would be ideally before feminism came in and changed the idea of the female role.
So like Western gender roles.
Western gender roles.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Alice? What is your definition of traditional gender roles?
So traditional gender, I was just had to make sure I wasn't muted. So traditional gender roles to me actually, because first wave feminism is the 1920s. What is it? 1926 was when the 19th Amendment was, or 1920? Wait.
Sure. I mean, but I think we can start this at the Western. So it seems like Western. So this comes back to my second question, and I guess we'll start with you, Sarah.
Yeah, 1920.
Is what is good? Like why is the Western gender role the meta? Why is this why is your idea of population growth the meta? Or this Alice, same to you. Why is the immigration the meta? Why is it not this other thing? Like what is it? Why? Because y'all aren't really defining why this thing is good. Y'all are saying this is good. Like why is that, Sarah? What are you talking about here?
So,
all right, Alice,
I think, yeah. So, if we're talking about replacing the population or population replacement, I think that discluding 51% of the population or precluding 51% of the population from work kind of is more devastating to the country than not having as many people on Earth, right?
Okay. I mean, I'll even just counter that and say women have always worked. Even pre-feminism, women have always been able to work. They've been able to do little side jobs, part-time jobs, teachers, laundry, so on and so forth. So it's not to say that women aren't supposed to or not supposed to work, but our duty, our main goal should be, therefore, to get married and have children. All right. You could still do part-time gigs, huh?
Why? That's what I want you to answer. Why is that the goal?
Okay, well, number one, the replacement level. Current total fertility estimates sit around 1.6 children per woman, which remains well below the 2.1 needed for population replacement. If you don't replace your society, it will collapse, right? Either you will just have other immigration just migrate into your stuff, and all of your core values are not becoming theirs. Or two, I mean, if somebody wants to take over your country and you don't have the people, the men, the women, and all of those things in their place to support it, well, then you don't have a society. Like what is good is the survival of your society, right? You want it to continue on. But if your replacement rates are dropping and you don't even have the manpower to defend yourself, then what's the point?
All right, perfect. That's really what I wanted to hear. Alice, any response to that? I'll let y'all find again. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Hold a second. I dropped my pen. There we go. Right. And I'm arguing that there is no need for replacement, and that the argument, or there is no need for replacement when we have 50% of the, or when we have half the society contributing to the workforce. And when you're talking about traditional gender roles, I'm talking even after the 19th Amendment, they had a completely different structure for economics in the United States prior to that. So prior to Reaganomics, and I think even prior to that, the economic structure was tariffs. So we traditionally, that's why people were able to afford so much, is because women didn't work before, was because there were tariffs, and that we were an exporter country. Now we're no longer an exporter country. It doesn't matter what you do. We're never going to reach that type of export, the type of exporting that we did before Reaganomics and trickle-down economics. We actually fundamentally changed the entire financial structure of the United States when we eliminated tariffs. And I'm not saying that tariffs are a bad thing. I'm not saying that tariffs are a good thing, because they're
coming back to the Republican side, Gibbs.
This is very interesting. I just as a meta thing, I think this is finally interesting because I kind of expected you to make more of a progressive. Just from a meta standpoint, I expected you to make a way more progressive arguing like AI, Elon bots, replacing shit, property, population values. You haven't done anything, but you've argued very liberal, like neocon kind of point. Welcome to the Republican Party. It's good to have you over here now.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with the Republican Party. It's just
exactly. I agree.
We're
converting them, boys. We're converting them. I knew it.
No.
Come on.
First of all, I don't like Elon Musk. Second of all, I hate AI. I don't like it. I think Anyway, sorry, I'm
I don't mean to sidetrack. Yeah,
can
just
I
go back. I know that's
actually-
my fault, but someone said
I
something
actually
China,
wanted
made
to
me
kind
think
of like sideswipe your whole economic standpoint on that and just maybe put a pin in it for now. But you said that the birth rate doesn't matter because half of the other half of the population being women, I assume that's what you mean, are working. If we remove them from the workforce, then the birth rate doesn't matter. And I want to say, like, mathematically, that's not mathing in my head. So if just because we have, let's say 100% of people are working and only 50% of women are making babies and our birth rate is on a decline where we're not even replacing ourselves, then it doesn't matter how many people we have working because we don't have the people underneath that to even fulfill those shoes. Right?
Mhm.
Like we're still going backwards and backwards to where eventually we're just going to keep cutting ourselves in half and in half and in half. And now we're legitimately, there's like no more people to fill those roles.
I wouldn't say in half, but I mean, if we're
Our
looking
current birth rate is we're at 1.6 children per woman, which remains well below the 2.1 needed for population. I mean, we're just like cutting
Why?
and cutting and cutting
Why? Why
because
is
war
2.6? Like what is the significance of that number?
or it's 2.1 to needed for
Oh, sorry, 2.1.
to that's just replacement level.
You need
That's
two
just
to replace one?
2.1. Well, it takes one man and one woman to make a baby. Do you want me to explain that to you? That's two
No,
people.
because no, but you understand that like
If
a lot
one
of
man
times,
and one woman have one baby, we have not replaced our population of us two. We have only we only have one of us now. We need
right,
another
right.
one
Uh-huh.
just to fill that whole entire piece. And then you got that, that's why it's always like a house,
So
2 point something kids and a dog or some shit like that. Like, because there's usually a third, right?
So
You
what is
assume
the
things. Mhm.
so what is the 0.6?
It's 1.6 is where it's 1.6 children per woman. That means more people are probably not having like the typical 3+ children. They're only either having one, maybe two.
So the 0.6 is on her chest. Hey yo!
Or 7. I don't know.
That's
No,
the way
I
to get a
didn't
pearl necklace. That's how she goes back to the 1950s. She
Okay,
went back
anyway,
to the 1950s.
anyway, no, I understand that, but a lot of times, and I'm not promoting this, but a lot of times you have women with multiple partners who, and if we're living in the current rule where you're not allowed to have an abortion, unless you live in certain states, those kids are going to end up in an adoption facility, and then you think that every single person should have a kid and not adopt. So what happens to those kids that aren't adopted? They're eventually going to be released into the world, right? They count, right?
Yeah, that still doesn't replace the birth rate.
Sure it does. Sure it does.
Yeah.
How does it not replace the birth rate? So
You're saying
So-
if one man and one woman have one child, and let's say man and woman get in an unfortunate accident and child goes to adoption, you're saying we've replaced the birth rate just by them two having one child and it goes to adopt. That doesn't make any sense.
Here,
I guess the question I keep coming back to, because you keep saying this, and like I thought you'd maybe answer, but now it seems like you're going back to the kind of thing. Why is this a good thing? What if we had less people and we had more robots? And guess what? Now we have a higher concentration of wealth in a smaller group of hands. Why wouldn't that be the preferred outcome? Like
Why wouldn't a concentration of
no,
wealth in a smaller group?
I mean, I'm just like my argument, and that's not even the real argument. The reason I'm saying that is because you could define that as the good argument, right? Like, oh, we want less number of people, more money, right? You could also define having millions of people as the preferred outcome. Why is this thing that you're saying? Why do we want the replacement rate? Why is that key?
Yeah, I mean, money's great. I believe in capitalism. I love money. Everybody loves money. I could roll in a bed of money and call it a day. But I could have $1 million sitting here in my room right now, and 20 dudes could come banging down my door and beat the shit out of me, and now that money's done nothing for me, right? So even if you could have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the manpower to protect your society, your country, your state, your city, your house, whatever, if you don't have the manpower to protect it, well, then that money did you no good.
So here's my example. So you have our good buddy Elon. It might be backwards, and you
It's
have
okay.
woman 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's one man, 5 women. Look at all those babies.
Yeah, those women are doing their duty to society by
Right,
procreating
but
with
do
a
you
man.
understand what I mean when I say that
Yeah,
one
you have
child?
two babies per woman, I think.
No,
One, two, one, two. Oh, well, those last 3 women, they suck. They haven't actually helped the birth rate because that is still Elon and one woman only having one baby. They've only
right,
procreated one per
but you
them.
understand? No. That's not one replacement. Elon was already replaced. Whoops, hold on. Elon was already replaced with
Hmm.
this first baby.
Mm.
Done, right? So
Okay.
all the other babies are now extracurricular activities.
Okay. How often does this happen?
A lot? What do you mean? A
For
man having
like a man like Elon to have 8 babies? This you're saying
this
this
is
is
very
standard? This is
yes.
average?
Yes,
Nick Cannon.
because traditional gender roles also say that a man can have
Okay.
because traditional
Average
gender roles can say that
child per man.
can have sex with anyone who
Okay.
he
The
wants.
average number of children a man has varies by country and age group, but studies generally estimate lifetime average about 1.5 to 2.2 children per man. Yeah. Elon and Nick Cannon are definitely the exceptions to the rule. There ain't no way. If we had a bunch of dudes out there running around making 8 babies like that, I think that
All
would
right,
be, I wouldn't even have a complaint. The women would be doing their duty to society, and that man is paying to take care of them.
right. So that is the case, though. What
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
statistic?
that.
What
There's nothing wrong
statistic?
with that.
Well, I know there's nothing wrong with it, but like again, you're arguing that like women need to produce babies. Like there has to be 1 for 1 or 2 for 2. It doesn't seem like that's
It's
the case.
literally the birth rate, the replacement rate. I've read it to you. It's
Yeah,
current
I
fertility
understand.
estimates.
And here are
We
my
sit around
arguments.
1.6 children per woman. This is the actual number right now, which remains
Mhm,
well below the 2.1 needed for population. We're
mhm.
not there. We're still on a decline. We're going very fast. And
Mhm.
I think I just saw a thing the other day saying women between ages 30 and 34. I think it's like I think it was 40%. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, but have not had a child yet.
Yeah.
Have not had a child yet. How much longer are we waiting? So if she waits any longer, right, and maybe like her risks go up and down and teeter totter, but then let's say she just has one child, then now there's a whole generational gap in the middle of that. I know my mom was in her early 20s. She had 3 kids. I was in my early 20s. I had 2 kids, right? If the next generation, like if the next generation skips this entire line, she goes, and then she's 40 years old, popping out her first kid. You have an entire potentially one and a half generations in between that you've missed out on.
So, right, but right as of right now, there are 330,000 children in the US foster care system, right?
Mm.
So that's what, like a quarter of a million, roughly?
It's just
No,
over
no.
a quarter million.
Yeah, just
You
over
said
a quarter of a million.
330,000,
Yeah.
correct?
So
Okay.
330,000. I'm
Mhm.
gonna guess that these 330,000 kids are not actually factored into the how many kids are produced because there is no real like comparison between the two. And
Yes,
again,
there is. A mom and a dad
how?
made them, whether they're in foster care, adopted,
Well,
passed away. Like
what do you
that
mean?
number still is the number.
But where are they getting where are they getting the number from initially? Because that's the reason I have
Birth rates.
That's the problem I
rate.
have. Right. That's the problem I have with a lot of these statistics, though, is that like you have women who anonymously give birth and then send their kid to foster care, right? Like
They still
not
gave birth.
anonymously, but
They still reproduced and contributed their duty to society, or did perform their duty to society by reproducing.
And I just have a problem with where these numbers are coming from. And again, any replacement, which we don't necessarily need, I don't think we need replacement at this point. And if we do need replacement, then we have people that can immigrate into the country. And I simply don't see a problem with immigration.
Let me try something here, because I think we're circling a little bit here. Let me try one more time here, real quick. I want to see if we can get this question answered one more time. If not, we're going to move to a different part of this debate. All right. What I want y'all to do is define why y'all's preferred value system, i.e., like Sarah, you keep saying gender roles, and or OWLISH, God damn it, I just blanked. I had it in my head, now I just lost it. Whatever you just said, like, why are those outcomes the preferred outcomes? I have a really bad day, folks. I'm so sorry. What makes those outcomes, like, why are those the good ones, right? Because y'all both keep saying, oh, birth rate. And then it's like, oh, it is. And then the other thing. God, bro, I'm just done. Hey, but you get what I'm trying to get. I want to know why your preferred value systems are thing. Yep. Tell me, please. All right. And then if that doesn't work, we're going to move to another part of this debate. I have another
okay. So the reason why my preferred structure of having both the man, the woman work, non-traditional marriages, such as between 2 men, 2 women, or mixed families, or adoption, or no kids for a family, is because overall it contributes to society more fulfilling than just the woman needs to stay home. It eliminates 50%, almost 51% of the working class. It eliminates a lot of a woman's empowerment when it comes to the things that they earned over the last, 126 years? Roughly, yeah, something like that. I don't know, 146 years. But those things necessarily make the population a better place. Like, there have been no drawbacks to having women join the workforce, as far as I've seen. The only drawback we've seen is that men have thrown a temper tantrum every single time that they've made progress and they want to take it back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So you mentioned, and I should be able to answer your question, Gibbs, within this, but you said that women staying at home. Hold on. You said, now what? Hold on. I just lost my whole thought bubble.
It's going around.
That's what she said. It was children. Oh my God, I lost can you say a little bit of what you said again? Sorry. I had it and then it went out. You said, empowerment. You said empowerment. You said we've not lost anything from women working. And then you mentioned something else that clicked.
All I said was that men, the only thing we've had to deal with really is that men have thrown temper tantrums, and, all that thing with the glass ceiling and equal pay and all of that. And then there was it the non-traditional family thing?
No, that didn't strike a bell.
Okay.
Well, number one, you said empowerment. Okay. I don't feel like I need to go identify as a nurse, a teacher, a librarian, a clerk, or any of the such in order to obtain empowerment. I can obtain empowerment just by me being a woman, because me being a woman is fucking awesome, right? Me being able to have babies, me being able to be a woman as myself. And guess what? It's actually okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to let a man do it for me. It's okay, because that actually empowers me more, because I don't have to touch shit. I don't have to pick shit up. I don't have to do all of that. I don't have to get my hands dirty. I don't have to work. I don't have to do any of these things. Isn't that more empowerment to you in that aspect? And guess what? Women have always technically worked. They have not been eliminated from the workforce. They've always been allowed to work. It's just a matter of which fields or what they're doing in which they can kind of seed ground on or get get foundations in, right? But they've still done this. I mean, you have Mary Curie, like you have all of these people that have still been in these industries. It just might have been a little bit harder, but wouldn't she have been empowered that she could go be the only female doing that thing? Because that's what she decided. Great. Okay. But even at that, nobody was restricted from doing that. You've always been able to do that. Women have always worked part-time jobs. Like the empowerment piece is the ability to be at home and be a mother, because that is our duty to society. We are the only thing that can procreate on Earth. Men can't do what we can. And that's a pretty freaking awesome thing. I might be able to pick up the weight. Gibbs might be able to pick up the weight. That's awesome. We both might be strong enough, but he sure as fuck can't push a baby out. He surely can't reproduce and give birth, have labors, all those things. He can't get pregnant, right? I can. I'm already on top of the game. All right.
Yes.
And then you mentioned, I wrote it down and now I don't know what I wrote. I can't even read that. My pen.
There's an app that takes the notes for you now, and it gives
I like
you
using
points.
Pencils.
Just throwing that out there, boys and girls. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it because I don't take notes, but that's beside the point.
And again, like for women's duty, back to kind of Gibbs's question, it is beneficial to society if we continue fulfilling society. Here in this instance, you would be relying on immigrants to come in, which means they need to reproduce too. You are still relying on other women to make your babies for you instead of just making your own here at home. And again, if you don't have those babies cannot turn up and support your system above you. You're going to continue losing the birth rate. You're going to continue women at this rate it's increasing and increasing to a very scary level. Well, women are just not having babies. If we push out the propaganda, if we make it happen, women should be doing this. It is the one thing we can do, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I can grant you that. I can grant you that having children is definitely awesome. But like, I don't necessarily see why if a woman had children that precludes her from going back to work.
I didn't say she couldn't.
Right, but your entire argument is that she should be a stay-at-home mom, right?
But the idea is that she should be capable of being a mother and making that her priority instead. That should be her priority, is being a mother. Again, I gave you the numbers earlier. The average single woman makes $50,000 a year. When you tax that, you take, let's see, I think I wrote this down earlier. You tax that 25%, let's just assume 25% worth of taxes. That's $12,500 gone. Then you have $37,500 $37,500 from there. Then let's pretend she gets married and has a baby, right? And she still wants to work. Well, your highest in childcare is $15,000 a year. Take that away from your $50,000. Then you're down to $22,500. Then if we have a second vehicle, the average vehicle costs $12,000 a year. That's between maintenance, gas, all of your car payments, so on and so forth, insurance. All right. So now we're at $22,500. Subtract that $12,000. Now we're down to $10,500 a year that she's now making. Then let's pretend our kid is our kid's doing a summer camp that year. That's another $12,000. Or if I have 3 kids and they're all doing summer camp that year, $12,000 just for 3 months worth of summer camp gone. So far, we're in the negative. Now I don't work to make a paycheck. I work as an expensive hobby that I pay to go work. I would be paying to work. Does that make sense? All of the aftercares, the daycares, all of the different things that the things that you have to supplement in order to fulfill your role as a mother. You going and working that average $50,000 a year job. That's the number that popped up. $50,000 a year gone by the time you're done. And then you only get 1 to 2 hours a day with your child. That's it. That's it. When they go 1 to 2, because in the morning you get up and then you put them on the bus, and then afterwards they get home and they have, this is like what they consider quality time with your child. 1 to 2 hours worth of quality time with your child, where you're not running, doing other things. And let me add sports. And you want to know what sports cost? I got a varsity teenager who kicks ass and does all the private club sports and all of those things. It would, if like all of the driving and all of the stuff you have to do for that, it'd be terrible just to add that in.
So how much is the dad making?
I did an average of $70,000. The average married man makes $70,000.
Okay, so let's subtract the 27,000 from his.
You wouldn't be subtracting all of those because mom would be at home taking care of that.
Right, but we can subtract it from her. But this is the thing with the 2-income household. If you have a 2-income household, then you can balance that money much easier than, because
What are you balancing if she went into the negative just trying to go to work?
well, I mean, like, she wouldn't be using just her money, right? If you had a dual income household. So what is his money doing?
If her paycheck is gone by the time it gets to her, then you do understand math, right?
Right. So let's
put it this way.
2,500 from the 70,000 that is from the man's side, right? Because that's still money in the bank.
$2,500 for what?
Negative $2,500 is the negative.
Negative what?
You said when we started doing the math for the summer camp, $12,000 minus
yeah, you wouldn't be she would end up negative $1,500. Negative $1,500 is where she lands.
Oh.
And then so now all you're left with is dad's pay. Now, you could very well say, okay, we had to take $1,500 from dad's salary. And actually the average egalitarian couple both make $60,000. That's Sam's example. They both only make $60,000 each, right? So now she's going to work. She's doing all these things. Okay, she might make an extra $10,000. She makes an extra $10,000, and then she still only gets 1 to 2 hours of time with her child. Let alone, I said also earlier on, the Pew research shows that most women are still doing all of the household chores, the bulk of it, and taking care of the kids and all of those traditional roles that they would be doing. And the men are still doing less, right? So you're still taking on the traditional role at home, and you're working a full-time job on top of that my average was showing less than a negative $1,500. You're paying for a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
That when you can just make your hobby being home.
No.
I could buy a freaking bead collection and have more fun, and it would still be cheaper.
Yeah, but I think you're really kind of living in this reality where the father isn't contributing whatsoever. And if that's the case, then you need to get a new husband. Like, I'm so sorry. But if your
that was the Pew research that was showing that mothers who are working.
Wait a second. Pew research? Is that a religious site?
No, it's a survey. It's a survey site.
I don't think it's a religious site.
Huh?
It's not a religious site. I mean, it might have a Christian founder or some shit, but I'm pretty sure it's a research.
Yeah, no. When I searched up how reputable it was apparently like very well.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, I had two other people.
I'm sorry. I thought Pew research, like Pew, like
yeah, I got where you were going.
Pew.
Yeah, don't worry, I was with you. I understood. But Lack was the other
Pew.
day. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, that was a sidetrack with once again these crazy things with the where are we at here? Sorry, go ahead.
But
Sarah.
yeah, but in that research, it shows that women who are married and have children and work, and they have what's considered an egalitarian relationship where it's supposed to be balanced, it's still not balanced. And you can say, oh, well, you have a shitty husband all you want. But the fact is if you're making, I'll even grant $5,000 to $10,000 extra dollars a year at most, right? After you net everything that you're spending just to be able to go to work, you're still not winning. You're losing, and you're still doing all the things that you would have done during the day at your leisure with your children, or while whether you send them to school or whether you keep them home is up to you. But you're still able to get all of that shit done during the day as your job. As your job. And yeah, you might not make that extra $5,000 or $10,000 a year as a combined household income, but you're also not spending a shit ton of money to put your kids in daycares and take care of all the aftercares and all of these other things that you as a mother can't do because you're too busy working this expensive hobby.
Yeah.
One verse. Thank you so much, Frosty, for whatever the fuck that is. Rupees? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. Rupees. Wow.
He's Indian.
DGG must be here. No, I'm just kidding.
Funny.
Just kidding. I love DGG. So no, what I was thinking is that like it doesn't make any sense to it's 2,500, by the way, not 1,500.
No, maybe I missed something.
Shit.
I guess what I'm asking though, so one of the things like that keeps coming up in the chat, and I would like this maybe addressed, I think, because it is an interesting point, is what happens whenever technology progresses to the point where men can have children? Like, what if I want to have like a womb, or what if I don't need to have a womb? I kind of brought this up to you the other day. Like, what happens then when we have like the Clone Wars facility basically built?
Mm-hmm. Do you want men having babies?
No, I want test tube genetic super soldier babies. That's what I want.
Okay, well, who's going to take care of them?
The robots.
Do you want your next generation raised by robots?
Sure, why not? Why is that a bad thing?
I'm sorry. Why is this a question?
Well, because it's still not happened yet. I want you because I want to be explained why because your whole crux of your argument, Sarah, and this I think is important to me so I can understand it. Comes down to the childbirth, and like that's the key thing that separates women from men, right? Am I right? Okay.
It's a monolith.
I'm just making sure I'm steel manning. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm steel manning so I can understand. All right, this is what I want you to like, and I keep asking for why this value system is better. So you're saying, okay, you don't want your kids raised by robots. Okay, why is that bad? Like, I would argue robots are analytical. They're not going to have any kind of inherent bias or racism. They're going to be efficient, so they're going to teach ultimate capitalism. They're going to not deal with fucking bullshit, so we're not going to have participation trophy. Like this, these are all great qualities that a robot would impart on the children. Why would that not be a preferred outcome? And now I know this is a stupid scenario, but I'm doing this because I want you to illustrate to me why your worldview is the preferred one. What is the like key? Because you keep saying it is, and I need to know why.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm not even gonna, if we have robots taking care of kids and raising babies, then fine, let's just send women to the workforce. Although I think it would be more preferred if we do it the opposite way, send the mothers home, send the robots to the workforce, and then, then everybody's satisfied. You still have your workers, you have jobs getting done, and the mom can be at home. But even at that, if women are the only ones who can give birth, then obviously in the opposite of that, we need somebody to protect them. Right, which would be the man, which means naturally, and we already went over the masculine and feminine concept that the gender roles are based on masculine and feminine based on how society deems and so on and so forth. Well, I obviously am not going to send an army full of just women to go fight a battle. Correct.
No, but this comes back to the thing I asked y'all at the very beginning, which comes back to, and like I know that it sounds like I'm being harsh, Sarah, but it really I need y'all to both like kind of like engage this a little bit with me. The traditional, this is why I asked about the traditional thing. Would you argue that the traditional roles of women during the Neanderthal period is going to be the same as during the Bronze Age or the Iron Age or now? No, those have all shifted. So if we have a point now where technology eliminates the need for women to be the specific child rearers or child bearers, like why is your thing the preferred outcome when tech can get rid of it?
Well, then fine. I already answered that. I said fine. If there's robots that can do that, then do it. Like we're not there right now. I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna have an argument for something that. But
that's not the point. I'm not talking about the hypothetical.
You're talking about child rearing, right? Well, yeah, okay. Let's go there then. Where do the eggs come from?
No, I'm not talking about child rearing. I'm saying you're advocating that the child rearing thing is the separation, correct? From the men. Yes?
Being able to have babies makes you different from a man.
Yes. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My argument is that technology throughout thousands of years, right? And this is the kind of the thing I'm asking you to engage in, right? Has changed. The gender roles for thousands of years. Used to women stayed in the caves and the men hunted, or and then whatever happened in the fucking Middle Ages, I don't know. I'm not gonna go through a whole dissertation, but my point is these gender roles have evolved. So because as technology has advanced, it's eliminated other roles. Right? We don't have oilers anymore. We don't have whalers anymore. We have oil, right? So my question is, if technology is always evolving and roles are changing and being eliminated, you're advocating for something, and I know it sounds like tradition. However, you're advocating that because this thing exists, it's good. You're not telling me why this thing good, right? Like you're
because this thing is, I was, but you went off in a tangent of, I said if I had a army full of women to go to battle, like you wouldn't want that. That's not the good thing, right?
Sure.
Yes or no? Okay,
sure.
Right. But if I had an army full of men, you'd probably feel a little more secure knowing that they're going to do their job, correct?
Yeah, and if I had an army full of Terminators, even better.
I have women who have the absolute monolith right now in today's society. They are the only ones that can reproduce, correct?
Okay.
Okay. Men then in the opposite of that are the ones who are led with the charge of protection, providing, so on and so forth. We've already put men in that place. They've been in that place. They haven't been removed from that, correct?
Sure.
Right. Like I think it's like 80% of our military, even law enforcement, all of these other numbers are going in such a way where men are overall the protectors of society on a local scale, even on a global scale. Right.
Okay, sure.
Okay. However, women are not performing their duty to society right now. And what we're seeing is this stark delay in having children, number one, but then we're also seeing abortions on the rise. We're seeing also women choosing not to have kids at all. And we're also seeing our birth rate drop in like a historical low, like to the point where we're not even close to our replacement rate. All right. We currently do not have little AI robot soldiers. We currently do not have a replacement option, right? If we migrated people in, we are still not migrating people that are doing what our society does as a whole, correct?
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you need to, let's say we wanted to migrate a bunch of women, children, and men from Mexico. They're actually going to be having their own little population world, and they're not going to be doing what you want them to do. So you would actually be going against the grain, and those people are going to come fill in those spots, and we're going to be back to traditional roles way faster than you think we're going to be moving forward in progressive stances of women should work more.
So, like, how does this kind of square with the idea that we already have these existing like subcultures, such as like Chinatown, or you have like very I was supposed to say saturated, not saturated, very concentrated areas of like where one particular culture lives. This is already something that happens. And plus there's something that shows that when you have people who immigrate into the country, as the generation line gets longer within the country, the people tend to move away, go to college, and adopt the traditional American lifestyle. Like you won't usually see, that's why you have this thing of like kids translating for their parents, because they go to American schools and they learn English, and then they become the translator for their parents because they're actually, like, what is it called? Becoming a part of society more thoroughly than their parents. So this is kind of something that we already see, and they don't like cordon themselves off and put a hard line. We usually don't see that unless there's something you can bring up.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you said that they're replacing, right?
If you needed to replace your concept was that you could migrate people in and replace
yeah, exactly,
society. But if you're going to replace them with people from down in Mexico, you're probably going to get actually the roles that I am pushing for, and they're actually going to work against you. They'll end up voting Republican, and they'll end up taking them and their children but to traditional values. Like that's actually what you're going to end up getting.
Not necessarily, because a lot of people have extended families, right? So a lot of times you'll have, especially people with different cultures, they actually believe families should live together in the same home for a long time. So you'll have a grandmother, a mother, a father, maybe a grandfather, and their kids. So the mother can still work because the grandparents live in the house with them. So that's not something that's a non-traditional family that usually.
That is still a mother doing her job, though.
What do you mean the
And I
grandfather?
mean,
What
I'm
about the
referring to the
grandfather?
grandmother. The grandmother is still doing her job as a mother. And that's actually a support system we got away from many, many moons ago. And we got away from the traditional standards of family life. External families moved away. Everybody separated and went in their different directions, where everybody used to live either in the same house on the same block, or at least within the same 10-minute drive. We actually moved away from that because why? Because we must go and go off to all the kids go off to college, and they move to the big city because they want to chase this dream, that dream, that dream, that dream, this dream, and instead of maintaining the core value of their tribe. Their tribe is their family, and they get away from that and try to push that instead.
Right, but what I'm saying is that if you people who immigrate will have that mindset, so which is why the people who are already here, who are natural born citizens, who have that mindset of let me move away to the big city. I'm single. I'm single. I don't need no man. I can make my self-worth. Why not give them that free, or why not grant them that?
What?
What do you mean? Why? What do you mean? What? Why not grant them the non-traditional gender role? The people, the natural-born citizen. Why not grant them the non-traditional gender role, and not follow the non-traditional gender role because people can immigrate and maintain what you're talking about?
Because everybody that I'm going to immigrate is going to be people that run by traditional gender roles, and then you're going to be outnumbered, and then you're just kind of gone, and all of your ideologies are gone too.
No, not 100. Well, I'm sorry, and like I said, and that kind of plays into what I already said about how like there's no such thing as outnumbering, right?
If you aren't reproducing, and I import a bunch of people from a country who do
and
what
they become Americans,
I'm promoting, but they're gonna do based off of their family traditions and what they believe in. I'm importing that. I'm importing that right in.
They become Americans.
And then you're not reproducing, therefore your ideologies die.
No, it doesn't. What is an American to you?
Oh my God.
What is an American? Like, what is someone who is an American? Like, what do you think an American is?
They still bring their traditional values. Have you hung out with Mexican people
and did you not
their families?
Did you not say that we used to have those values?
Almost there.
You what?
Almost there. That's what I want you to explain right there. Okay. You said the Mexicans, right? They have similar values.
Yeah.
So why is it the same?
Because they're still reproducing. We have gone away from it. They are keeping it.
Do you think that like female, like Hispanic women don't have jobs or something? And they just produce and just stay at home? Or does their life?
They carry those traditional values, and it's been passed down and passed down and passed down. This is what helps their society continue to become what it is, and so and grow and do. Like we're gonna have to import that because we no longer have it.
I mean, in some sense, we do have that. Look at the Christian population. Isn't the Christian population?
Look at the numbers. We are below replacement. We don't have that.
I understand. And then my argument is that we don't necessarily need to worry about replacement when we have the ability to get people into the country, to not import people. I'm sorry. That just seems for people to immigrate, right?
Okay, if we just play the shuffle, we play the people shuffle and just start moving them country to country, we're still not recreating.
Yes, we are.
What are you doing?
Okay, so the world. So
You're just
right
moving
now,
the
right
people
now,
that procreate,
yeah.
and now, welcome to Mexico, Owlish.
What's the okay, again, and I'm going to explain this to you again because I already explained this once, but I'll explain it again because I think I explained it at the wrong point of the conversation. Is that when you have a population, when you have first generation, it's understandable that they're not going to become part of American society, right? They're not going to take on all of the traditional Americanisms. But as that person, as they have children and as their children attend school, as they attend American school, as they get American friends, as they start, becoming a part of society, they pick up those, and as after those generations, if they have kids, maybe they meet somebody who is an American or whatever, they start to become American. Like this idea that they cordon themselves off doesn't exist.
Alish, if we end up replacing all of Americans with all of Mexicans,
what is an American? What is an American?
Do you realize, like,
tell me, what is an American?
Structure and their values are now they will take the lead.
No, please.
You do understand how that works, right?
But what is an American?
Thank you. This is the question I was asking earlier.
Proud to be an American.
Yeah. So, what is an American?
In terms of a legal American?
No, in terms of what you're talking about. Who is that American? Because if they get a green card, anybody can be a legal American, right? But if you're talking about what are American values, what are our traditional who is the American you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about American are you?
We're in America right now, and what we have going on, where we stand in terms of our society and our culture. This is where we are right now. We're in feminism. We're in this. We're in all this crazy shit. Okay,
you don't want that, right?
We are. Hold on a second, but we are not replacing our this in America. We're not passing on our traditions because we're not making babies to pass those traditions down. Guess what? All right, let's import a bunch of people into America because we need people to pick up on jobs and to do this and to do that. Okay, well, now you're just bringing all of their traditions up here. So then I'm still going to win at this rate because they're going to bring all of those old school traditions.
It sounds like
and that's going to carry over.
Go ahead, Alice. I'm going to interject after you, Alice.
Huh?
Okay. Yeah, say that again, Alice.
Catholicism at its finest is going to take over America if we import.
No,
that's the point I want to expound it on. Go ahead, Alice. I'm going to go after you. Go ahead.
So, what is the problem with people immigrating if they hold the values that you like?
Well, that's actually even more. That's interesting. That's not what I want to go with it. But here's my thing, right? Okay. So we'll take that. If they don't hold the values, or they do hold the values. Okay, my argument is, you've made this argument with traditional values. My argument with what is an American, this is why I brought the Aztecs thing earlier. Nobody questions who built the pyramids in Mexico, right? Because they're hardworking. They have a shitload of kids. The women stays at home, she works, and grandma stays at home. The nuclear family, I think, is not traditional. I would argue the extended family is traditional. So when you're sitting here saying these things, those are the values that I would argue are traditional, and I have to do this because my Mexican contingent in my chat is rioting right now, saying this is tradition. And guys, if I'm one thing, if not and is a fucking grifter, and that's what we're doing right now. We're grifting in my chat. So go ahead and y'all can explain.
Which one do you want me to explain?
Well, why the traditional Hispanic values of extended family, working, and then having grandma stay in the home, raised by a village, having Catholic traditional values, or even further back in the Mesoamerican values that are very similar on the culture and the family and raising a unit. These are traditional values that have been around for thousands of years. The nuclear family changed all that, and Western society changed a lot of that. Why aren't those the values that are better?
So let me drop you another statistic here, because this doesn't just apply to Mexicans. This also applies to South Koreans and a lot of people across Asia. South Koreans typically move out of their parents' house between the ages of 26 and 35. So they stay in their parents' house potentially from childhood all the way in through adulthood till they're 35 years old. So again, it is not a tradition. The nuclear family that we have in America, that is an atypical society.
So for the fact that we leave when
Yeah.
we turn 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
hmm
Yeah,
And this
but
is what's,
when did that kick off?
what do you mean? When did that kick
When
off?
did we start leaving home?
When we went to college,
Mhm.
and women have always gone to college, so
They've gone to college, but they haven't moved away unless they were married off.
I don't know about that. I don't know I don't know the statistics associated with whether or not women went away to college. I know my mom did in the 80s. My mom did in the
Mhm.
80s. She went away to college. And she moved away.
Yeah. I'm talking about pre-feminism though.
Okay, but
College was still available
okay,
to
but then
women.
this doesn't work with your argument because pre-feminism is pre-1920.
Mm.
First wave feminism is essentially the right to vote. That is first wave feminism.
Right.
So you would be pushing us all the way back to pre-1920s 19th Amendment. So you would
No,
basically
I already said at the very beginning, I'm not going to remove your right to vote. Actually, all of the freedoms that you have, you could still have all of those freedoms. All I'm saying is that we should promote motherhood and the woman's duty to being a mother and a wife, and not making it not making it a priority to try to work, but instead making it a priority to be a mother.
right, but who's not promoting that? Like who is telling mothers to or telling women to not be mothers?
Do you want to start with abortion? Do you want to start with go to college, be free, find yourself, go on your journey, go make all that money, girl? What is it, boss babe? Get that
Right.
bag.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine, but you can still be a mother going to college and being a boss babe, right?
How?
What do you mean how? Because
How are you? How I already gave you the numbers, the stats, and
I
everything.
understand you gave me the statistics.
The average woman is not making hundreds of thousands of dollars. The average woman is not at the top CEO level. The average
Mhm.
single woman is making $50,000 a year, and that's just me being nice with that number.
Yeah, then don't
Fifty
be a
thousand
single
dollars
mother.
away.
Don't be a
You are
single
not a
mother.
boss babe at $50,000 a year.
Then don't
You
have
are an
kids
average
until you have
ho
a
hum.
stable life.
You are probably even, you could even be like a not a nurse, but like the level down from being a nurse, like a medical assistant, things that require all of this college, $30,000 in debt, and then just to make $50,000 a year so that you can call yourself a boss babe. I got my own money. I would have had more benefits and more duties, more benefits to society if I had just gotten married after I turned 18, let my husband go do what he needs to do. We make babies. I'm staying home with my children, and we would have produced more for society in 10 years than me going to be a boss babe making $50,000 a year for myself and paying all of this money out in college tuition and wasting all of my best years doing that. Because I have to go explore and find myself.
Oh yeah, well maybe you should be smarter. Oh, my cat's here. Hello.
Hi, pussy.
The boy.
It's still a pussy.
let's do a little bit of reframing here for the debate here, right? Because we're talking about in modern society. That's the prompt right here. So we have
Yeah.
traditional gender roles.
And
What
not-
are the traditional roles? What are some other traditional gender roles other than caregiver that we think need to be in society or not need to be in society? What?
Well, I just have one quick question. So, like, I don't understand why going to college and are you assuming that people who are going to college are automatically going to be having children as a single mother? Is that what you're kind of hinting at here? Or are you just saying that like being single in general is not good?
I would produce more for society and for my family by getting married at 18 to a husband. Even if he goes to college during that time, I would still be more beneficial if we got married or whatever, I cocktail waitress for 4 years while my husband went to college. I made money the whole time. He got his degree. He started his first job. We got married and started making babies at 22, 23 years old. I would still be more productive for society than if I went to college those 4 years, reined in all of that college debt, the tuition debt, reined in that, and then went and started a job just to only, and I mean, starting, you're probably not making $50,000 a year, but the average for a single woman is $50,000 a year. 50,000, that is average. Like, where am I going to? I just wasted 4 freaking years of my life to make $50,000 a year. That's a fucking joke.
Yeah, that's more so an issue with the job market and college, not so much with women wanting to go to college and get jobs, right? Because they're doing the right thing. They have the right mindset.
But you're working with the system you have now. Like this again, you're running girl math on me, and the girl math ain't math, and
How is this different from men?
Sense.
How is this different from men doing this though?
Because they make more. They generally make more, and they are more likely to go and actually do specific roles that are towards their degrees, like becoming doctors, becoming lawyers, things that are very specific to that, and make more money doing that. But even at that, they still make more money no matter what. Why would I go and waste my time and energy if I already know that my husband, the husband or future husband, whatever, is going to make more than me anyways? And in that midst, I can work a dumb humdrum waitressing job. I'm not ashamed to do that. I wouldn't be afraid to bartend for a couple years, whatever. Meet my husband, steal him up, have his babies, become his wife, and life is grand. And maybe I do a fun little part-time job at the YMCA 2 hours a week just for shits and giggles. I don't know.
Why are we assuming that women, I mean, I know traditionally women make less than men, but like, why are we saying that women can't make that money, right? So let me give you an example. And I'm going to give you, what do you think I should do? Prescriptively tell me what I should do. I am a woman. I can't reproduce. I don't have a uterus. I am single and I work. Where do you think I should be in my life? What should I do?
Well, there's kind of nothing else you can do as a duty to society. Obviously, you can't reproduce, right? Well, so in that instance, you should be in a supportive role that would help assist the betterment of society. You want to go be a boss babe, fine, go be a fucking boss babe, because you're not going to be a mom. Do you want to foster kids? Maybe that's a different direction. Are you married? No. So I would tell you, get married, go foster some kids, and mother children who do actually need it. That's what I would say. But I'm not here to give prescriptions. I'm here to promote propaganda.
Yeah, but
I'm here to promote propaganda. I'm not giving the prescriptions of, I even said, keep your fucking votes. You can keep all of those things. I'm not going to prescribe that you're like, you have to do these things. But what I would say, if I could give the prescription, I'd give the prescription of promoting propaganda.
Oh, that's what I want. I forgot to add, I'm 37.
Okay.
So I'm past the years I could have a child anyway.
Yeah, well, we can't turn
back.
Not
time, without right? The test tubes. We got the test tubes coming, boys.
The test tubes coming.
But we've talked about the children a lot, and I'm going to put my foot down. We're moving this side. Other gender roles.
Yeah. So
in society, what are they? Should they remain?
What other? Because
are there other gender roles? Like,
are you saying other or are there?
Other, yeah, both. Are there other gender roles, and what are they if there are? Like, and should they remain? Like, because we focused on childbirth the entirety of this debate. So I'm curious if y'all think there's anything else that's a gender role of the women.
No, because childbirth is the one thing that separates us from men. That's the one core piece that's 100% separates us out. Only we can do this. That's why that's the only one that matters.
I think there's a lot of other things that separate us from men. We're more
like what?
Women are more emotionally are able to regulate their emotions better. Women are able to think more quickly. They are better problem solvers.
But are those like roles? Like what? Like what's a role? Like would like dishwasher be a role? Like I'm making that like a jest, but like what are like the roles they should keep? Yeah.
Yeah. Our roles as
Well,
women
hold
are
on.
to.
I would Alice to answer that. Like what are like?
Okay.
Because you just lifted like. You just said like a bunch of things that women are. Like, what are the roles though? Because you said you think they're the roles. What are the other roles?
Oh, the roles of women are leaders, teachers, programmers,
So
scientists,
why are those women roles?
scientists, presidents. We almost had the woman one. We love that.
But
We have a
women's
VP, we
gender
have a
role is
VP.
any gender role. Then is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, because I don't really think that, because I even though women are, you know, the only part of the population that can reproduce, that doesn't mean that she needs to spend her entire life around that one thing she can do.
It's
Because
the one and only thing she can do that nobody else can, that no men cannot.
Yeah, I know men cannot do it, but
that we can do.
Why do we need to take our whole lives away from us? Because you're saying get married at 18, which holy, that's
Even if you didn't, even if you again you waited a couple years until you found the right man, right? But you still lived at home with your family, worked nearby, and just figured out until the right guy came along and married him and pop him out.
What if I went to trade school?
Why are you going to waste time and money on a degree that's probably not even going to do anything for you anyways, unless again you're in the very higher level professions, right? That's the only way that you can actually validate it to me. Otherwise, you're making the average of $50,000 a year. That is not expertise level in the industries. That is not, I need a master's degree in order to make $50,000 a year. That is just your average. So probably, I'm assuming probably a 30-year-old woman who's been doing the same thing for the last 10 years and has worked her way up to $50,000. So why are you
jaded? Because like if a woman goes, so let's just say that like she didn't want to go to college, but then she was looking and she saw like, oh, I want to go to trade school and I want to become a carpenter, or I don't know, a electrician. I want to become an electrician. So she goes to trade school, becomes an electrician, starts out at $100,000 a year. Where's the issue?
I want to know how many women are doing that.
Probably a fair few, because I mean a lot of women.
Is that the rule or is that the exception?
I know a lot of women who work in construction, who are electricians, who work for
women.
I mean, nurses honestly should just be paid more overall as well.
Women make up roughly 2 to 3.5% of all electricians in the United States. Is that the exception or is it the rule?
It's the exception in that industry.
Why are we working in exceptions right now?
Let's see. Let's just Google, where do most women work?
Nursing, teachers, all of the same jobs that you guys all did 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Healthcare, education, professional, leisure, and financial. That's interesting.
Financial would be the new one.
Yeah, financial activity. So what if we promoted to women that instead of staying home having children and doing that, we told them, why don't you go become a real estate agent? What if we promoted that? Or like, why don't you get into banking or become or trades?
Because that's not promoting the benefit of society. Because if they're going out and worrying about getting the career, how many years does it take before you establish your career?
So when you have these men working these jobs, what would you assume the men are doing? If you have a man, if you have a man who's basically the single income for this traditional family, or traditional family, because obviously traditional family is an extended family. But for a traditional family in the United States, where would the man be working? How much money would he be making? What would he be doing?
The average salary of a married man, when I checked, was $70,000.
$70,000. So I don't think that people who work at McDonald's, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, In-N-Out, I don't think they're making $70,000, right? So if you have these roles in society that need to be filled and you only have, like I said, 50% of the population who are fulfilling these roles, and maybe a little bit more than that because, they hired, I think at like 15 or 16, who's fulfilling the roles of the lower income workers?
That's I don't know. What?
No, it's an important
Why are we going-
question.
Wait,
It's a
hold
very
on.
important question.
So
Because you're
There's
assuming
5 minutes. 5 minutes. We're gonna go to closing. So just go ahead.
you
you're
have
assuming
men and women, and you're saying that what about, you were talking about men and what they make, and now you're asking about the lower income roles?
yes.
Like
Because
people that work at McDonald's?
exactly. So people who work in those lower income jobs, because if you have men who need to support women because all of the women are staying at home, who is working those lower income jobs?
Then
Right?
is he failing his duty to provide for his wife and child then, if he didn't figure that one out? Holy
Wait,
shit.
okay, but let's just say that
But
every
then you
single
also
person.
have you've got teenagers, you've got college kids, you've got all
Okay.
sorts of options. You got the
Well,
youth.
you don't
But
want them to
guess
go to
what?
college, do you?
Hold on. Guess
You
what,
don't want them to go to
Alishness?
college.
You're not going to have the youth to work those dumbass jobs because we're not reproducing them. We're not making them. So guess what? Eventually, McDonald's is going to run out of workers, and we're not going to have any freaking McDonald's because we don't have enough people to fill those places anyway.
No, because we need men to make $70,000 a year. So they're
The
not going to
average man makes $70,000 a year.
Yeah, McDonald's doesn't pay that unless it's a franchise owner, maybe. I don't know.
So the average, why are you working in exceptions again? The
This isn't an
average man
exception.
makes
How many McDonald's are
70,000.
there?
It was the average married man makes $70,000 a year.
What is the average salary?
This is
Right.
the average. You are working in exceptions,
Okay.
not rules.
No, these are not exceptions. These are all of these exceptions. You understand that all of these exceptions that I'm building up right now, they become overwhelmingly the rule. Okay, you have people who have these traditional lives. They are not the standard. Most families do not have currently a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home husband. Okay, this is not this is the rule, and it's because of all of these things. Or you can just eliminate half of the pleasantries you have in society, which are having convenience things like getting fast food or going to the gym or doing anything that will require somebody to have a minimum wage job, because working at Target, for example, or getting a job going to Target. None of these things are going to exist unless we have a part of society, if we have a 2-income household, or we have, because your prescription was that people at 18 move out and get married, right? And then have kids. So 22, 23, so 3 years they can work at Target while their husband is doing a career? Is that, and again, you could be maybe I'm having a hard time kind of putting it all together because I live a very non-traditional life and I'm fine. And I know a lot of other people who live a non-traditional life. So I'm just having a hard time understanding how this all is a extraneous, non-traditional thing.
Okay.
It sounds like your argument
it says 25 to 30% of married couple families with children under 18 feature a stay-at-home parent. Okay, that's pretty close to 50%, right? In terms of if we could get it there, I'd be a happy camper. I said if we could get it there, I'd be a happy camper.
70%,
all right?
70% of parents both work.
Hold on a second. But even at that, if we take the egalitarian couples that on average, the average husband and wife who both work and have what they consider an egalitarian household make $60,000 a year each. Okay, I already ran the math for you earlier. We're in the
That was
negative
not the
on
math.
what it costs for mom to go to work. She's not making a whole lot of gain, right? If those women that are in those egalitarian, we both work, we both help, we both this, we both that, if they quit their job, yes, they lose $60,000 worth of income, but at the same time, they're also not paying all of these other expenses out. Therefore,
Well,
I
you
could
just
get
gave a
all, if
completely
I got
different
all
scenario.
of those egalitarian, both of them work people that both make $60,000 each. If I got the wives to quit and just be a stay-at-home mother, I could fill it back up to where at least we could hit 50. I think we could hit 50%.
I
It's not the standard. That's why I'm trying to make it the standard. It's become the exception, and that is the problem.
so I am running the numbers again because you gave me a completely different number this time.
For
Whoa.
egalitarian
Huh?
couples, an
Yeah,
egalitarian
for an
couple.
egalitarian couple, you said $60,000 a year, so that's
Mm-hmm.
120K between the two. You
Mhm.
have 27,000 for traditional funds. You have 22,500 for like school and childcare and whatever. You have. Oh my
Yeah, I
God,
said earlier you'd probably be left with like $5,000 to $10,000 in your pocket.
okay.
But $5,000 to $10,000 a year in your pocket.
So 120.
That would be worse than working a job at McDonald's, Owlish.
Yeah,
I don't-
I'll let Alice respond and say I'll get you to go one more time with that. Then we're going to close-its. All right, go ahead, Alice.
Let me just run this math real quick.
And then, while we're back, I'm going to extend an invite to these two if they would like to go another 15, 20 minutes if they want. But I'm not going to be moderator anymore because I have a lot of umbrances with a lot of the things that have happened, and I want to pose some questions to both of them if they're down. If not, then I'll fuck off. That's fine too. But all right, go ahead, Alice. Then we're going to go Sarah.
We can go to closing. It's fine. It's a much bigger number. It is about like $10,000 to $15,000 more. But before you didn't want to calculate that in. I don't know why this calculator sucks.
So you think it's worthy of working 40 hours a week and being away from your children and having about 1 to 2 hours of time with your child?
Yes, because listen.
Let's just say $15,000.
Yeah, so
extra.
Let's absolutely for $15,000. No, it's not $15,000
15?
extra. It's way more. It's way more than that. It's 120K household.
You have to negate what hi Pumpkin. You have to negate what she's making, what she's paying out just to go to work.
Yeah,
you
so
remove all of that. You said 10 to 50. You did the math. I'm trusting your girl math here.
I'm not hold on. I'm not trusting the math because I was left with negative $15,000 or negative $1,500.
That was on the if she made the average of a $50,000.
So now we have 60,000.
That was based on a single woman's income. So if you're just applying that 50,000 as because we're going to just look at it that way, if she decided to work, right? Now in an egalitarian, the average is 60,000 and 60,000.
Yeah, so it's 58,500. Is if they both make 120. I'm sorry, if they both make 60,000, because she ended up with negative $1,500.
Right.
If her husband makes 60,000, that's 58,500 for money. $120,000 is a lot, and you know what? We're even going to add in. How much was my thing this year? We're gonna add in 35,000. So we're gonna add in like rent or something. Okay. Anyway, we can go to closings. But
sure, Alice, you're up first on the closing anyway. So if you'd like to start, what you got, we'll give you 4 minutes here.
Okay, cool. So essentially, what I think I have proven tonight is that it makes more sense for both mother and father to have a job as it provides more money. We could argue that perhaps maybe you spend less time with your children, but in general, if if the father's only working, then the father is kind of losing out on that time with his kid anyway, because he's working most of the time and only bringing in half of the income. I would also argue that like the traditional family that we're looking for is not actually the traditional family of the United States, but is the traditional family is something more so you would find overseas, in which parents usually live with their, or kids live with their parents up to the age of possibly 35 years old maximum, usually between the ages of 23 and 35 that they move out. So that's the traditional household overseas, which would mean that we're able to, people should migrate in here, because it actually, if we want to appeal to what Sarah's prescription, then that would actually fulfill her prescription. However, as it is right now, we have to focus on the fact that we now have a non-traditional society in which you simply cannot live on the income that you're going to get at any specific job. You need a two-family or two-person income in order to make any headway in society. And having kids now seems more egalitarian than having kids. Not having kids, then having kids. And yes, we can argue that the birth rate or replacement rate is going to fall, but I mean, given that we have 338 million people in the United States right now, we could possibly, as opposed to 228 million in 1990, we can stand to lose some. But also, if we, again, allow more immigration to the country, we will maintain that birth rate because they believe in that traditional family value. I appreciate having me on today, and I appreciate talking to you today, Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah.
Thank you. Alish, I love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this little funsy one with me. Yeah, it was fun. I like it. And I didn't even have to call you names. It works. Number one.
I called you names. I called you Sarah. Got him. Just kidding.
But
Was
number
that
one,
Sam or Samantha? I'm sorry.
Sam, Sammy, Samantha.
Yeah, Sam.
Anywho, Alish sits here and she's more worried about whether the dad gets to have time with the children or not. But at the same time, she wants to then take the mother away from being with the children, and it promotes neither parent having time with the children. So I'm not sure why we're so concerned about dad when I'm offering an opportunity for mom to be there, and dad can have the advantages of everything's already done. So we don't even have to split workload, split care, split this, split that. Things at home are done, and dad can go focus on his job, come home and just be with the children, because all of the other things are worried about. Alish is so concerned about money. This seems to be the everlasting, well, I should go and make money. I should work and be away from my children because money, me now, which you should all be sending me money, by the way. But inevitably, at the end of the day, that money we've discovered isn't actually that much more money than in terms of what is worth losing all of that time with our children. You can go from having a full 8 hours to 12 hours a day with your child to instead just 1 hour of quality time. Or I can just spend all day with my kids and just be the mom, because that is a job in and of itself. And even though Mr. Corporation is not signing my paycheck, doesn't make it any less worthy, and it doesn't make it any less meaningful. In fact, I am doing my duty to society. I'm procreating, and I'm creating a lot of you little more bastard tomatoes out there ready to come rock and roll. At the end of the day, I think we should, in fact, make room for our traditional gender roles. I think we should promote mothers wanting to be mothers, women wanting to be mothers. I think we should promote I think we should propaganda this shit all the way to high heaven, that motherhood is in fact the highest job of all of society, and nobody else can replace it. No man can do it. Nothing can take it away from us, because once you become a mother, you'll always be a mother. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you, Gibbs, too.
Yeah, no
This is fun.
problem. Yeah, and like I said, if y'all are willing, I would like to go an extra couple minutes here, just because I want to take the moderator out and like kind of like hit y'all with something, because y'all like, I don't think y'all are asking, and all three of the chats that I'm watching are all screaming at me, and they're all saying the same thing. So we're gonna do something, right?
Yeah, get the chat in. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna see something, right? I'm gonna explain one. I'm gonna say a statement, and then I'm gonna show you kind of how it applies, and it's not gonna make sense, but just follow me. The dinosaurs all died. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a
Good
bad
thing.
thing for the dinosaurs.
Or is it just a thing that happens?
It's just a thing that happens, but if you look at the future moving forward, it was a good thing.
For humans, right? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just keep this line
Maybe.
alive.
I always wanted to ride a T-Rex, though. I think that would have been fun.
That's
Oh,
fair.
that's-
That's fair. Like, let's try to just pick another one. How about, like, the sky is blue? Good or bad?
The sky is blue, good or
It's a
bad.
reflection of the like.
The sky is
It's
not
just
blue.
the point is okay. Listen, you're really overthinking. How about grass is green? God damn it! Listen, the point I'm making is sometimes things are just they are like, for example,
Yeah.
women produce children. The female one produces children. That's in is right. And so when you're adding prescriptions, and then you're adding this, and you're like one thing that Alice, you did, you said, okay, every gender role is basically all women's gender roles. There are no gender roles because we're like that's kind of a point you made, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so that's a very like so as the negative, if you're in a debate, she made this argument that's like basically negating all these things. However, the issue that I have with that is that it's like you're not there's like it's basically saying that the prompt is already lost. But with you, Sarah, you kind of did this nebulous thing where you're like, oh, gender roles. This is why I asked the traditional thing because and then I brought up the Mexicans later when all the Mexican chatters raged at me. They go, oh, okay, traditional roles for Mexicans are going to be like my friend Juan, right? Juan came here legally. He went back after he got enough money, came here the legal way. He fucking has 3 kids with a fat American wife. He drives a brand new Porsche. He works 3 minimum wage jobs, and he's got a nice ass house that he owns. That's the American way, right? That's traditional values, right? And what does he have? He's got extended family, not nuclear family. He's got extended Catholic family. He's got extended, like all the Mexican thing where they all the grandmas, they try to get them here. That's much different than the Western, like Christian kind of thing that y'all were proposing. And this is why I was asking with the traditional, because one, we need to describe when we're sitting here talking about what these rules are, what these traditions are. And then I know I brought up the thing earlier with the different things are always changing. And so my argument is that you're making the statement that these women are having children. That's the gender role. Okay, I'm saying that is a sex dichotomy that's going to happen regardless, as long as biology is the key factor, and that's why I kept bringing up the robots and the fucking thing. And so when y'all are sitting here saying this is, and that's a good thing, right? You're not engaging with the overall meta, which is why that is a good thing. Right? Because if you're saying all these children, and I know Sarah's going to object to this, is, oh, we want to keep having them. Okay, that's cool. Then why don't we want the Mexican values? Right? Why don't we want that? We want Christian American values. And your argument even was, oh, let all the Mexicans in. It's going to change the culture. So you're not actually arguing for the
Catholic values.
But you argued against the Catholic values. You said you don't want them all to come in. So you don't like Christian values.
That's the argument I was trying to make as well. Is because most Mexicans are Catholic. It's
I'm Catholic.
Right, I understand that, and that's why I'm bringing this up to you,
Yay!
Sarah, because you're doing this double speak where you're using a nebulous argument here, where it's like, okay, I want traditional gender values, but then you're like not defining traditional, right? You're saying, oh, Western. This is why I asked the Western thing, and then I go, what about the Maya, the Aztec? Okay, these are all Western too, but they're like Mesoamerican, they're Latin American, and so when you combine the Spanish influence and the Latin American influence, and we combine even the socialism that's happened under Bolivar and all this shit, Bolivar, whatever, all this shit is still Western. However, that is a different traditional value system that is equally viable comparatively to like the Western European state, right? And y'all never specify the difference. And some of those value systems are better than the ones you're proposing. And so when I'm asking you what the metric is, I was never given a metric. And that's kind of the issue I'm taking with how this kind of debate went down, because it's like we're punching a paper bag on both sides here.
Well, if you brought in the Mexican if you brought in a lot of Catholicism, then all of those things would just kind of cure themselves, and then what Alish was speaking to would be lost and gone. That was why we went there, because she was talking about migrating them in.
Right.
No, it wouldn't be lost and gone.
Well, because
And
the argument was about replacement, right?
Yeah, and she said we'll just ship them in, right? So I said, but then you're going to be bringing in people that are my people. They would all be Catholic. Abortion's gone out the window. Any type of crazy progressivism gone and out the window. They would still hold very similar principles and values. If you brought in a bunch of Catholic people, you're not going to get a bunch of abortions. That birth rate is going to start going the other way.
But
I agree
why
with all
would you
that.
they're just Mexican? Like that's where I'm getting confused. Like we bring in more than just, or people who are more people than just Mexicans immigrate into this country, right?
No, what's the bulk?
Yeah, I mean, Hispanics are the bulk. But I mean, that's the
The
thing.
Hispanics are the bulk, but we still have people from other. Why do you think that every single Mexican is just a traditional
Catholic?
I mean, I'm Mexican. I'm not Catholic.
77.8% of the population is Roman Catholicism.
Okay,
It's the largest religion.
It can be Catholic and not.
And that's just through other Christian groups, and religious blending are also common. So that's just Catholic.
I find that
Protestant, evangelical, 11 to 12%, other Christian denominations, so on and so forth. No religion or atheist comprises about 4.7 to 5% of the population. I think I'm going to win there.
Yeah, but have you ever seen Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Okay, you know Gus Fring?
Is that the guy that owns the chicken place?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He has this one quote that stuck with me, and I use it every day. And he says, "A problem means that something can be fixed. If something cannot be fixed, it's a state of reality." So when you're describing women are the child bearers, that's a state of reality. That is not a problem. And thus, since it is a state of reality, it has to be accepted. Does that make sense?
The problem is that they are not having babies.
But the ones that are traditional, Catholic, Hispanics, which is a different form of traditional values than what you have proposed in this debate.
Wait, what did you saying? They're all traditional Catholic Hispanics?
No, but I'm saying that most are influenced by Catholicism in Hispanic cultures.
I mean, if we're being real, I would prefer
Catholicism is not. Catholicism spread to Mexico. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, so even if you're not, I'm Mexican, I'm not a fucking Catholic, right? But I'm still influenced. So I have a rosary. I still like you all. I have a lot of the culture aspects, right? You know, the point I'm making is these are traditional values that are our American values. They're just not the United States necessarily values. But then you're arguing you want more kids. These are the ones that are having more kids, right? What countries that have tried to implement programs that have more kids have done that successfully? None of them. You know what the cultures do that well? Hispanics do it really well. And they do it all the time. And why? Because they encourage the extended traditional family. So I just like kind of like have this problem when we're doing this like nebulous thing, because it's like we're not defining. I hate to be the guy that says I want to define shit, but like what tradition of values were versus like gender roles, because like it seems that either nothing is a gender role or there's only the one gender role, and I don't think either are true.
It's a virtue. I said this in the beginning, that they're virtues. But the idea is that the women are the only ones who can, in fact, reproduce. You can only be mom, right? You are the only, out of the two of us, only she can do this thing. So why are we going to waste her efforts anywhere else when the man can actually literally do everything else? He can provide, he can protect, he can take care of all of those things. He can take the trash out. He can do all of that shit. And all her sole purpose duty has to be a mom, because that is what she was literally built for. And it's the only thing that she can do that he absolutely cannot. We should prioritize that duty.
No, he can though. Like, she can have the kid, yeah, but he can take care of the kid, can he?
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? So, like, this is my problem with
Right?
Alish's argument, right? So, Alish is saying there's no gender roles. I'm saying there are gender roles, and I think they are valuable to society. And this is what I'm saying, right? So, look, your value system, where it's the nuclear family, where the mom can't get a second job, that's bad plan. That's bad poodoo, right? What I want is I want a traditional system where, oh, the mom has the kid, she goes out and works, and grandma or grandpa or aunt or sister raise the kid while she's at work and she comes back, because it takes a village. It's a group. And then we have these traditional roles of the community, where you have gender roles in the community. Oh, we have the potluck. You have grandma who's the organizer. You have these are traditional matriarchal roles, and I think they have value in a community aspect. And that would be the argument that I would like to make, as opposed to we want to bring back the nuclear family, which I think has been a
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. But we're not having the generations close enough anymore either to make that even happen. If you're waiting till you're 40 years old to have a child, that means therefore your mother, who would be the grandma taking care of your kid, will be 80 years old. How do you expect an 80-year-old woman to take care of a newborn while you go grind your gears at the job?
Like they've done for thousands of years?
The father can do it too, right?
No, for thousands of years, they were reproducing at a much faster rate. You were between 15 and 20 making babies.
Yeah, but they were also dying in war and disease every day. Like, that's like a little bit different situation. It's situational.
So let me ask you this question. In nature, is it traditional that the female always take care of the child in nature?
It's the female that always gives birth to the child.
Right, but do they always, 100% of the time, nurture and take care of the child, or is it that in the?
Let me ask you this, because you're trying to compare humans to animals. Animals don't have mortgage payments. Animals don't. You're talking about animals, though. In this instance, you are talking about like roar, lion, roar, wolf, wolf.
Yeah.
Woof, woof. That's what you're talking about.
Animals
They don't have mortgage. They don't have mortgage payments. They don't have utility bills. They don't have vehicles. They don't have to survive via the economy of money and so on and so forth. So what you're saying right now, I understand your comparison, but it's not the reality of how humans operate in society.
Well, we built it that way, so.
Right, and that's where we are.
Maybe if women would have actually built society, because I think men have this huge problem with women actually taking control and building society, because if women would have built society, we probably would have done it more logically, to where we're doing what more than likely I suggested, which is the woman obviously gives birth because that's what the woman can do, but then the father shouldn't be babysitting the kid. The father should be parenting the kid, and then they can take turns. Like, if the father wants to take care of the kid and the mother goes to work because she has more skills in doing X, Y, or Z, it should be skills based. It should not be gender based. It should be based on what your skills is. Because, like, for example,
you agree there are gender roles then?
Hold on then. Can a man have the skill of pushing a baby out?
Right. The woman can push the baby out, and then the woman can go back to work. If a woman has a job paying $120,000 a year and the man works at McDonald's, should the woman quit her job when she has the kid because she's the only person who can take care of it, or should the father stay at home? What if the father's more nurturing? What if the mother is?
Those are the exceptions.
These are not exceptions at this
the
point.
rule.
We already went over.
Hold on. What's the percent of women who make more than their husbands?
I don't know, but like, you gave the percentage.
It's not higher. They are the exception. They are the exception. They are not the rule. The average sits at 60 and 60.
Okay, so
yeah.
So it's more than 50. It's more than 50 than like the one that you were talking about.
That was me utilizing a single woman's income average at 50.
No, Oh, I'm sorry. You said 60.
This is the problem. This is the problem with statistics.
Right. A married man. I believe it's a married man with a wife that doesn't work is 70. But if they both work, it's 60 and 60, and then a single woman is 50.
Why?
I don't know. There's the numbers I pulled, but either
hold
way.
on. This is why. This is the
Well,
problem with
why?
statistics. There's an expression in statistics, right? It's called "there's good liars, there's bad liars, and there's statistics," right? And so here's one, right? And so we were arguing about population growth for the entire time of this debate. So, and I made the argument, like kind of like see how y'all deal with it about, oh, okay, we just kill all the people and the money goes up. Well, if your metric is money go up, and you want to consolidate the wealth of a certain group, part of the reason why Nazi Germany was successful in the early 30s, mid 30s, is because they killed a certain group of individuals and they took a lot of their wealth. They consolidated. They consolidated. Well, this is harsh reality. They consolidated a lot of the wealth into one area. It's bad. They took out a middle class group of individuals. Now we see this over and over again. That's just an egregious example we all know. So here, if we have, I don't know. Here's a comparable one. An entire generation of boomers dying. Soon. That's going to be the greatest generational move of wealth in history, okay? So now we're sitting here. Actually, it appears that more humans is bad if your metric is that you want average income to come up. So you actually want less humans because, guess what? We're a first world country, and that's going to raise the price. Now, this goes against the arguments you're making about the incomes, right? Where it's like the married and the children, because if the only metric that you're really trying to get is financial gain, then you're going to want less people. Now, once again, chat, I want everybody to know I am not advocating for any of this. I'm just pointing out the flaw in the argument that I'm seeing here because it's a pretty bad one. Because this is why you don't want to rely on just like the income sort of thing. I think
I made this argument earlier about how I don't think that the population growth really doesn't mean anything.
But you did this too. But you did this thing right after that, where you said, "Okay, population," but then you didn't expound on like why this good, right? Y'all both kept doing the same thing.
So my argument was that because I brought out the number that we have 338 million people in the United States, as opposed to 250 million back in 1990, up like 20% from the 80s. So like if we necessarily went back to that if we went back to that 90s population, I think that society was better back then. Everything was cheaper because we had less people. So I already advocated that, like, not necessarily that people should die, but like we probably would do better with less people. This is an argument I made earlier.
Yeah, I mean, those were the only ones I had. And we're right at 15 minutes. Wow, I fucking had the timing in my head. All right, so that's it for me. I'm going to rate Sarah. I'm done for the night. I've had a very long day, and fuck all you people. I'm done. But other than that, yeah, this has been wonderful. I apologize to my ladies here. I was not on my A game in the first half of this shit because exhaustion and stupidity. But, I'm glad that we got through it at the end.
I think you're fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're too kind. She's a liar. But hey, that's why we're going to welcome her to the Republican Party. I can see it already coming. It's good. It's wonderful. It's happening. We're converting them slowly. They let the DSA in, and which is a perfect segue. I will be on Sarah's presenting a topic. What's the topic exactly wording that we chose, Sarah?
National Socialist.
All socialists, and the DSA is National Social Reband. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And guess what, boys? We're going to have another PowerPoint. It's going to be amazing. Except this one's going to have cool graphics and videos, I think. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. I see OWLISH angry already at the title. I'm excited.
No, I am 100% against the DSA.
Well, good. I know. That's why you're coming to the Republicans.
I saw her on the X posting about like why are we not calling out the DSA on this bullshittery, and I loved it.
I'm just glad y'all are realizing I was right.
Because
they are Nazis. I'm just glad you're realizing it now.
I'm gonna have her dress up as Holly Homemaker by the end of next year.
Homemaker? Yes. Hell yeah.
Holly Homemaker.
What is that?
No, I don't know what that is, but I'm glad we're all on the same page with Destiny, so we can all say hello to them, and we're following his anti-DSA movement.
I mean, listen, far be it from me, hold on, holy, that's a crazy goddamn statement. First of all, I got to distance myself. I'm not with DGT or Cruise Point. I'm definitely not a liberal, so I don't need to hate Destiny for his personal shit. I just hate but whatever shit. However, a broken clock is right twice a day, and he's absolutely correct about the DSA being an evil piece of shit. As Alice said, we got to watch out with the DSA. So sometimes you got to ally with people that you don't agree with politically to get shit done. This is one of those cases. We all got to fight the DSA now.
Yes, we can all fight the DSA. I will talk about this all day, every day. I will debate anybody on DSA and DSA candidates. So
She's coming over to our side.
I know. I'm so excited. We're slowly. You're
Oh my
coming
God.
over here. The Overton window's moving.
No, I
baby.
still believe
Didn't I
abortion.
tell you a long
Thank
time
you.
ago, Gibbs? I said that line is gonna shift, and we're gonna see the scale go even like more of the left side is gonna be falling on the right